Many people find themselves irresistibly drawn toward the messages that are contained within prophecy. Many of these prophecies have been fulfilled with unnerving detail and accuracy, and yet heated debate still continues on exactly what they're trying to say. Is mankind being warned of something? And we begin our quest at the greatest archaeological monument of all time, the Great Pyramid on the Giza Plateau in ancient Egypt. The Great Pyramid stands 46 stories high and dwarfs the Sydney Opera House. If it were set down in New York, it would occupy 13 city blocks, while the Empire State Building, although taller, covers only half a city block. Not only is its sheer size impressive, but it would have to be the most controversial building of all time.
The dating of the construction of the Great Pyramid is still up for grabs. Physical evidence seems to only reveal around 2500 to 3000 BC. But astronomical evidence that has surfaced recently indicates it could be 10,450 to 10,500 BC. And of course, that fits with Edgar Cayce's dating of the whole Giza Plateau, particularly the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid.
Edgar Cayce, who died in 1945, was known as the Sleeping Prophet because of his ability to fall into a trance-like sleep during which he would see visions. He is regarded as one of the foremost futurists of the 20th century.
According to the Edgar Cayce material, the Giza Plateau was built by the remnant of an ancient civilization prehistoric to all the evidence that we currently have today.
There are several theories concerning who actually built the pyramids. Some say it was the Atlanteans, some say it was the Egyptians, and others even say it could have been extraterrestrials. Perhaps it was a combination of them all. People have laboured for hundreds of years on this site, interpreting and misinterpreting their findings. Their calculations often led them to believe they'd uncovered prophetic meaning within the Great Pyramid's curious sacred geometry. Do the pyramids foretell of future events? Peter Lemasuria, author of The Great Pyramid Decoded, read languages at Cambridge and is a teacher and translator. Over the years, he has focused on ancient Egyptian mysteries and is an authority on the Great Pyramid's internal timeline.
Now, the Great Pyramid, again, according to my decoding and a lot of other people before me, contains a, if you like, a blueprint for human evolution, a history of the world in advance.
The theory is that when we examine the pyramid's sacred geometry, we can calculate significant historical events such as the outbreak of the First and Second World Wars, the bombing of Hiroshima, the JFK assassination.
Every pyramid inch equals 1 year in time through the earth.
So from the time of, again, 1453 or so BC, it rises until suddenly the roof jumps up. And on this same scale, curiously enough, it happens on the 1st of April, AD 33, which seems to be the date for the crucifixion.
About here would be about 2 BC, and up here would be around about 29 AD, which of course is when Jesus started his ministry. I'm now entering the Grand Gallery with its magnificently engineered corbel ceiling. And this line here, this wall here, represents the year 33 AD, where there's said to be a sudden explosion of enlightenment, this year being the death of Jesus Christ. As we ascend the Grand Gallery, we see how, when measured in pyramid inches, one can pinpoint certain major events in history. According to this method of calculation, great earth changes seem to be scheduled to take place
when you take the great step and enter the final chambers toward the king's chamber. Then 1 inch equals 1 month. And we move very quickly from 1938 through 1958, and then from 1958 to 98.
Well, I've now reached the top of the Grand Gallery, and this is the great step which represents the year 1999, a shift in consciousness. It's very hot in here and I'm running out of air. But how did they build this engineering masterpiece? Because I can't see how we could do it today. We're going into the King's Chamber now, and I'm very pleased to be here. Here the ceiling drops down dramatically. Interestingly enough, between now and the year 2000. So it seems mankind is forced down onto his hands and knees before entering the King's Chamber of Enlightenment. And finally, this is the King's Chamber. Right here I'm standing under the apex of the pyramid and its supposed sarcophagus or open tomb. It symbolises the new age, the golden age.
But then above that there are 5 more chambers, which rather suggests 5 more dimensions of consciousness, culminating in an upward arrow, which may suggest that's where we're supposed to be going.
We've looked at several theories as to who may have built the pyramids and at the apparent accuracy of the pyramid's internal timeline, which indicates catastrophic earth changes around the turn of the century. It's incredible to think that some long-lost ancient culture is somehow reaching out to us, the people of the 20th century, and trying to warn us of something. The late Edgar Cayce told us of discoveries to be made beneath the Sphinx in 1998. Cayce foretold of these mysterious chambers containing ancient artefacts being discovered beneath the Sphinx around 1998. He said these discoveries would serve to enlighten mankind.
They've found that there are in fact square cavities beneath the Sphinx. They've done this with the ground-penetrating radar. Some researchers that were privy to this exploration say there are metal objects that are within the chambers.
Gordon Michael Scannion has become known as a futurist and modern-day prophet. To some, he is a latter-day Nostradamus. Documented evidence exists of his prediction of Hurricane Andrew,
which was to be the worst to hit the United States since 1947. Damage was estimated at $15 billion, the costliest hurricane in American history.
The Northbridge earthquake in Los Angeles in January 1994.
I thought we were all going to die, just terrified, woke up screaming.
And the Oklahoma City bombing in 1995, amongst many others. Whilst in a trance-like state, he speaks of reincarnation, healing and prophecy.
Chambers that I have seen lead through a series of corridors, and each of these corridors would lead to an anteroom. In the anteroom, you would find that there are guardians there that protect or guard the way for the right time. Those then lead you to the archive rooms. There's some rooms that contain the technology of the day. Other rooms contain the prophecies of the future, the emerald tablets, as I've seen them. Another room will take you to the healing arts and the medicine. They've even left behind, so accurate were their predictions, that they left behind seeds and instructions on how to work with seeds to help clean the atmosphere of the volcanic ash that will be coming up shortly.
The great changes predicted by the pyramids are expected to occur once these chambers have been opened.
So there's a message there, let's look for it, and this is the big thing that's going on at the moment. Let's look for this secret chamber. And the Egyptian government have got a bit fed up and told them there's no more looking for secret chambers, thank you very much. And I can't say I blame them. But of course, if it were right, and the whole thing weren't built by Egyptians, then you can understand their anxiety.
The secret chambers beneath the Sphinx may not only contain a hidden repository of knowledge left by the builders of the Great Pyramids, but speculation has it that even the missing capstone of the Great Pyramid may be lying here, waiting to be unearthed. It's difficult to imagine what might happen with the rediscovery and replacing of this missing capstone if it is to play some part in the enlightenment of humankind. Perhaps this capstone acts as a kind of ignition key to activate this remarkable piece of machinery that is the Great Pyramid.
What the fuck?